In a far-off future, humanity exhausted the planet's resources, leading to a severe decline in the population. The world's top scientists took on the task of saving a dying Earth. They discovered a new renewable energy source, yet humanity itself remained the greatest threat. Divisions emerged between the best and the worst of society, leading to a drastic solution: to enhance humans as a species. At the age of 16, everyone undergoes a transformation procedure, making them physically flawless. Envy and the need to prove superiority vanish. Tally is one of those awaiting this pivotal day. For now, she's called an ugly, but she has a glimpse of her future self and can choose features like eye color and skin tone. That evening, she sneaks out onto a bridge to meet her friend Paris, who is watching a party in the city of the beautiful. They both envy those already there. Paris, 3 months older than Tally, will undergo the procedure tomorrow and move to the city, leaving Tally waiting her turn. She worries he'll forget her, but he promises he'll always be her squints, and she'll always be his nose, setting a date to meet in a month. The next day, students gather to see off those whose time has arrived. Dr. Cable speaks about the benefits of beauty and calls forth the future beauties. Paris bids Tally farewell, and a girl named Shay, sitting nearby, notices this. That evening, Tally recalls meeting Paris at school, where he called himself Nose, and she became Squints. One day, he injured his hand, and she cut her palm intentionally, leaving them both marked with scars as a shared symbol of their bond. The following morning in class, Tally talks about the white tiger orchid, a plant that both powers cities and decorates the fields. Later that evening, she undergoes a mandatory scan for her future transformation, choosing golden eyes and dreaming of reuniting with Paris, who has yet to send word. When the day of their planned meeting arrives, Tally sneaks onto the bridge, but Paris doesn't appear. She decides to venture into the city of joy. As she reaches the outskirts, a celebration is in full swing. A mask falls from above, allowing her to change her outfit. Putting it on, she selects a dress and heads out to find her friend amidst lights, laughter, music, and festivities. Miraculously, she finds Paris, but he barely recognizes her. Even his scar is gone, despite his promise to keep it. After the transformation, an ugly person's life changes so completely that old friendships seem insignificant. Tally removes her mask to remind him of who she is, but she is quickly brushed off. She runs, grabbing a rescue vest as she's about to be caught. In a daring move, she jumps from a skyscraper. The vest saves her, and she reaches the bridge, but she's still being pursued. Just in time, Shay appears on her hoverboard to rescue her. Tally and Shay immediately feel a connection. Tally tells Shay how disappointed she felt after her meeting with Paris, and Shay introduces her to the hoverboard, even giving her a forbidden book to read. Tally becomes a campus legend after Shay tells friends about Tally's jump with the rescue vest, though the fame could jeopardize her transformation. She continues her hoverboard lessons and quickly masters the skill. Later, the two friends talk about beauty, and Shay reveals her own secret. She has no desire to undergo the transformation. She takes Tally to a training area, chooses the hardest course, and puts on a show. Tally returns the book, appreciating its description of a world where everything flows naturally, from seasons to relationships. Shay then proposes that they both avoid the procedure and escape to the smoke, a place where people live freely. She leads Tally to the school grounds edge, and, leaving their tracking rings behind, they fly into the wildlands. After crossing a river, they reach the ruins of an old city, where Shay points out a broken roller coaster. They climb a tall building and light a signal fire to call friends from the outside world. In the wild, Shay explains, people work for themselves, fall in love, and even grow old, just as described in the book they read. Shay had initially planned to escape with her friend David, but when she saw Tally on the bridge, she changed her mind and came back to help her. She hopes they'll read more books together in the future. People in the smoke can enjoy hobbies, unlike those who've undergone the operation, who lose the freedom to shape their own lives. Tally struggles to grasp this since she has always dreamed of becoming beautiful. Shay, disappointed, leaves Tally a coded route to the smoke and departs with David, whose signal fire glows from a nearby rooftop. Tally returns to the city, and soon, her transformation day arrives. But instead of the operation, she's taken to Dr. Cable, who knows all about her friendship with the missing Shay. Dr. Cable insists that David is controlling Shay's mind, and will only allow Tally to undergo the transformation once she finds Shay and brings her back. Distressed, Tally confides in Paris, who advises her to go along with Dr. Cable's plan, the only way for them to stay together. Reluctantly, Tally agrees. Dr. Cable explains that the Smoke residents aim to destroy the city and have developed a weapon she must locate and neutralize. Given a pendant to activate once she finds it, Tally sets off, following Shay's directions. After reaching the remains of an old roller coaster and following an abandoned rail line, she camps for the night, lighting a fire and discovering an unexpected peace in nature. The next day, she navigates a steep cliff, rides through the ruins on her hoverboard, and finally reaches a vast white field of orchids where she rests. Meanwhile, Dr. Cable contacts Paris, offering to upgrade his enhancements. That night, Tally is awakened by the orchids burning around her. As she starts losing consciousness, David appears and rescues her, discarding a transmitter he finds on her but missing the still inactive pendant. The tracker signals Dr. Cable that Tally has reached the right place. In the morning, David brings her to the Smoke, where she reunites with Shay, though others are skeptical she arrived alone. Tally expresses worry for Shay's safety, but Shay assures her she has no intention of going back and urges her to experience this life for herself. The next day, Tally joins a group preparing for an expedition. They explain that they burn the orchids because the plants are toxic, depleting soil nutrients and harming the environment. David invites her to see this truth herself. The group flies over fields and forests devastated by the orchids in a repurposed helicopter. Shay ignites the plants, and the flames reveal mysterious figures moving through the fire unharmed. Suddenly, the helicopter shakes, and Shay falls. Tally leaps after her, managing to catch her just as someone in a blue suit approaches. They are pulled to safety by a rope thrown from the helicopter. Later, Tally is confused by how the city's scouts found them, feeling torn as she grows closer to the Smoke's people. Here, everyone works, trades instead of using money, and even the elderly contribute meaningfully to the community. People have chosen this life, melting down old iron to make useful things. When Tally inquires about weapons, Shay shrugs. Why would we need them? Tally joins in the work, finding joy despite the challenge. At night, they gather by campfires, eating natural food. David warns everyone that scouts have been spotted, suggesting the city hasn't abandoned the pursuit. The Smoke believes in working with nature, while the city aims to control people through appearances, causing them to stop reading, learning, dreaming, or choosing their own paths. That's why they are willing to fight for their freedom. The next day, David teaches Tally to use a bow, noticing the calluses on her hands, and gifts her his gloves. When the scouts attack again, they encounter beauties who are far faster and stronger than usual. Later, Shay notices the gloves, explaining that here, a gift from a guy means he cares. Tally now faces a choice. Curious about the weapon, Tally asks David about it. He takes her to his parents, who reveal they were once plastic surgeons. They discovered that the procedures aren't as harmless as people believe and have led to fatalities. While studying these cases, David's father noticed that the transformation affects the brain, causing foggy thinking and a false sense of happiness. Only Dr. Cable uncovered the truth and removed them from their work, confiscating their research. It became evident that the operations were designed to manipulate people. David's parents, fortunate to find sanctuary with a group of denters, were given a medicine to preserve their minds. They fled, dedicating themselves to creating a cure. However, one key component remains in the city. This serum, though incomplete, is their true weapon, and once they retrieve what's missing, they'll need to test it on someone. But only if someone agrees to be tested. That night, Tally contemplates everything she's discovered, removes the pendant, and tosses it into the fire, unknowingly activating it. She confesses to David, who assures her she's chosen the right path, calling her beautiful before kissing her. The following morning, the city launches an attack on the Smoke. Men in blue suits capture the residents in nets, gathering them in the town square. From a hidden spot, Tally holds David back as they watch. Dr. Cable interrogates David's parents, and when they give no answers, she orders Paris to kill David's father. With a quick, ruthless move, Paris snaps the man's neck. David rushes forward, grieving over his father's body alongside his mother. Paris sees Tally but refrains from harming her, while Dr. Cable thanks Tally for her cooperation, revealing her real mission. Disgusted, Shay condemns Tally, but David's mother secretly slips a vial of medicine into his pocket. Tally manages to break free, dashes to David's house, and sets it ablaze, creating chaos that allows David to escape into the forest. Tally, armed with a bow, fends off a pursuer as the city's forces burn the settlement and round up its inhabitants. Later, she finds David, admitting she didn't know the full truth and is prepared to help him infiltrate the city to set things right. She introduces David to Shay's friends at the school and gathers their support. The group starts a rebellion, leaving "Smoke Forever" written across the city to divert attention from their true plan. Seizing the opportunity, Tally and David sneak into the laboratory. To reach the restricted area, David takes a ring from a guard, and together, they locate and free the captured Smoke residents. But Shay has already undergone the procedure, fully embracing her new life as a beauty. Just then, Paris and Dr. Cable enter, urging everyone to make their final choice. All three step into transformation chambers, but as the process begins, a helicopter appears overhead. David's friend uses a flamethrower to melt the outer glass, causing the system to fail. Tally pulls Shay out, while David's mother secures the last component for the medicine. The group escapes to the rooftop, only to be blocked by Paris. Tally tries to remind him of their friendship, but David, remembering his father's death, confronts him. After a fierce struggle, Paris dangles over a waterway, momentarily recognizing Tally, but he slips and falls. David leads Tally away. Later, they gather in the ruins of an ancient city. David's mother displays the recovered component and retrieves the vial from David's pocket. The medicine is complete. Shay, however, refuses, preferring to remain beautiful. Tally volunteers to return to the city, undergo the procedure, and then become the test subject. Although risky, she is confident in her resolve. Sometime later, the transformed Tally admires the city, and when questioned by the system, she convincingly declares that she is perfectly content in her new, flawless form. The story ultimately raises more questions than it answers. The city's motives remain vague, as the beauties contribute little beyond self-admiration, and the perceived threat of the smoke is unclear. Still, the stunning visuals allow viewers to appreciate the beauty of the scenes, setting aside the story's inconsistencies.